This is the 10th and last video in my series on reading and using topographic maps. If you made it this far, there's one last skill I want to pass on: how to hike cross-country without following a trail, as I'm doing in this video clip. As part of that, I need to talk about the ethics of off-trail hiking. There are places where leaving the trail is illegal. This meadow is a sanctuary for the plants and animals that live there. Part of being an ethical hiker is being aware of these protected areas and respecting them. Even where you can legally wander off trail, it's better to keep to trails where they exist. Your own footsteps may not seem like much, but certain parts of our public land get heavy use. All those steps in one place damage the landscape faster than it can heal. Using the trails is not just easier, it's more thoughtful. Besides, if you stay on trails, you're less likely to get lost. Same story where there's no dedicated hiking trail. If there's an existing road you can follow, you'll have an easier hike and minimize your impact by sticking to the road. However, there are public lands that are suitable for hiking but have no roads or trails. This valley in the Jemez Mountains of New Mexico, for example. When it's appropriate to hike cross-country along a route of your own devising, it can be a liberating experience. In the 21st century, the hiker's standard navigation tool is a phone app or dedicated GPS unit. I think they're great and I use them all the time. But those gizmos can run out of battery power or otherwise fail you, so a hiker who's literally off the beaten path needs a backup. Specifically, you need to know how to set and follow a course using a map and compass. Besides, if you develop map and compass skills, the information on your gizmos will make a lot more sense. To explain cross-country navigation, I'll modify the hypothetical map from the previous video in the series. Let's assume that the access road for your hike ends in heavy woods, so you can't see any landmarks. Your goal for the hike is to get to Blue Lake by creating and following a route through the woods. Since you can't see anything but trees at the parking lot, you'll need to follow a compass bearing to get to the lake. The first step is to draw a pencil line on your map representing the route you want to follow. Here I used a dotted line to represent the pencil line. The second step is to lay your map flat with the north arrow pointing to true north. The third step requires a base plate compass corrected for magnetic declination. Lay your compass on the map with one of the near corners on top of the spot where you parked, just like you see here. The fourth step is to rotate the bezel so the compass needle is aligned with the orienting arrow inside the bezel. Your compass is now ready for the hike to Blue Lake. If you hold the compass level and make sure the compass needle stays properly aligned with the orienting arrow, the direction of travel arrow will continue to point to Blue Lake. Follow the direction of travel arrow as you hike through the woods. By the way, the compass is trying to tell you that Blue Lake is 60 degrees east of north of your parking spot. That's helpful to know, but you don't have to know that in order to navigate using the approach I just described. In practice, you're going to drift off course. For starters, your compass bearing won't be 100% accurate. If you're new to this game, the bearing might not be accurate at all. And once you start going around trees and cliffs and other obstacles, you'll zigzag so much that staying on route will be impossible. Part of navigating through the woods using a compass is assuming that the farther you go, the more you drift off course. So from time to time, you need to assume that you're off course and make a correction. But to do that, you need to know where you are. The previous video in this series explains how to use a map and compass to establish your location through back bearings, like the one shown here. However, that method requires a view of local landmarks, like the 3 hills shown on this practice map. So you have one of two choices. If you're hiking along and the woods open up so you can see some local landmarks, it's good to stop and check your location while you can. The alternative is for your hiking group to find a high spot where you can see the local landmarks, even if that means adding to the length of your hike. Notice how I said that the hiking group should find the high spot. That's because the group should never let anyone out of sight because that person has gone off to get a bearing. If the terrain is that difficult to navigate, the chances of a group splitting up and then reuniting are very low. Once you know where you are, you know which way to go. To get there, you simply repeat the process you used at the trailhead. Draw a new pencil line on your map between where you are and Blue Lake. Set your compass the same way you did at the trailhead. The compass is corrected for the local magnetic declination, and the map is oriented to true north. When the long edge of the base plate is aligned with the new pencil line, and when the compass needle is aligned with the orienting arrow, the direction of travel arrow is pointing to the lake. Follow the new bearing until you get to Blue Lake. On a longer hike or in difficult terrain, you may have to do multiple course corrections, but eventually you'll reach your destination. In 10 videos, I've summarized the map and compass skills I picked up over decades of hiking and outdoor professional work. Nature is beautiful, but can also be dangerous. Having the right skills can help you enjoy the beauty while avoiding the danger. I know that very few people will make it through the entire series. If you're one of them, please post a comment, and I'll thank you personally.